Okay. So basically, COVID-19, I guess everybody is quite concerned about it. And we all know that it started to affect a lot of countries in Southeast Asia and America. And a lot of people have a lot of questions. So basically, we start with things that you guys can feel and protect yourself. Number one, as what Rebecca has introduced, I'm a general surgeon and also as an assistant professor in one of the private medical school here in the United States. So basically, very easy. People always think whenever they have a little bit of symptoms, they start to think that am I having the virus or am I having some problem with me? So we're going to start with a little bit of how do you feel, or when do you call the number, the 0333 something, for those people to come to your house and get your temperature and things like that. So basically the incubation period is what we call of COVID-19 usually is about 8-9 days. Okay, but we have done a study and it showed that it can been around in your body for 37 days. But normally it's about 1 to 9 days. So what do you feel in the first and the third day? Basically, you feel nothing. And that is the reason why this social distancing have saved quite a lot of people in China and have killed a lot of people in the Europe country. So the first day to the third day, you basically have nothing. You walk like normal, and that's not enough for you to get NC. Okay, what happened to day 4? Day 4, you start to have a bit of body ache. It's the same thing like you have some viral infection even before COVID-19, sore throat, some diarrhea, very similar to those who have not exercised for a long time, and suddenly you do a push-up, 100 times a push-up. You're gonna feel some body ache. It's almost the same. So you're not too sure, am I having COVID-19 or am I too old, right? Okay, day 5. Day 5, this is a time you know something is not right. Such as you still have fever. Fatigue, it's somehow like a medical term. Fatigue means you're very tired, extremely tired, not because of anything, you just couldn't wake up, which happened to most of us on every Monday. But in this case, you have fever. So this is a time you will call the number, the 0333 something, and have yourself tested. But some of us very deguile, which is stubborn. At this point, you still don't believe this is COVID-19. Well, if it continues on the day number 6, something not normal start to kick in. For example, you start to have cough, and some of us will have diarrhea. And the fatigue, which is a tiredness that you have been experiencing for the past few days, it becomes more and more severe. I think by day 6, you should be in the hospital by then. You're probably not in the intensive care unit, but in the normal ward. But you're in the center, if you're in a government hospital, you'll be in a central cubicle that's very close to the nursing station, because if anything happened to you, you will see a group of people run to you, okay? Day 7, horrible. You start to vomit, and your fever goes all the way up and up and up. Your body ache is horrible. If you remember, or any one of you kena dengue before, it's something like that, day 7. So by day 7, you're probably no longer in the normal ward, but you're not severe enough to be in the ICU. So chances are you will be in what we call high dependency unit. Okay, if this continue, day 8, you start to have something we call short of breath. You can't breathe, difficult in breathing. This is a time when the doctor around you will start to see, maybe this patient is to be transferred to our pulmonary service, which is the lung service. So, I'm coughing myself. So, day 9, you probably already in the intensive care unit. This time you can have high fever, your symptom is deteriorating, and this is time what we put in intubation. Put a tube down your throat. So what happened is that in the very beginning of the year, day 1 to day 5, you're gonna have some sore throat, which is very simple and very common in the day that you have other common colds. You start to have this sore throat. So remember when you go to the doctor always asks you to and then we put a wooden plate into your throat, and then we're gonna look into it. So in medical term, we call pharyngitis or laryngitis. This is quite common. However, COVID-19 is not something that our immunity or Malaysian immunity or even China immunity recognize. So what happens is goes towards downward. What happens is goes to the lung. Now, what you're looking at is actually a chest X-ray. On your left-hand side is a normal chest X-ray. So what happens is that if a normal chest X-ray, you're going to see normal thing. Lung is lung, the black color one is the lung. However, if you look at the right side, it's what we call pneumonia. You're going to see some whitish tissue on the excuse me, on the lung itself. So when this happens, you start to have coughing, and you start to have a lot of phlegm. That's what we call. If this doesn't get better, you're going to go to the ARDS, what we call the acute respiratory distress syndrome. What does that mean is your lung is full of fluid. So you can't breathe anymore. You feel like you're drowning. At this point of time, you probably in this what we call ICU, intensive care unit, meaning we're going to put a tube down into your throat, all the way connected to your lung, and then connected to something called a ventilator, as you can see what my cursor is doing, right? So what does it mean? A lot of people think, okay, now I'm ventilated, I'm being intubated, I should be safe already. Not necessary. What happened is that what we did was we just shortened the distance between your mouth and your lungs. So we are delivering more oxygen into your lung in a shorter distance. However, your lung itself has to be function enough for you to sustain the whole thing. So basically at this point, the lung, where we call alveoli, which is the smallest unit of the lungs, supposed to be only filled with air, not supposed to be filled with water or anything else, just air. In ARDS, which is a terminal stage of COVID-19, your lungs, the small alveoli in your whole lungs are filled with water. That's the reason why if you ask a patient who is at the final stage of COVID-19, they're going to tell you they feel like they're drowning. Now, people start to ask, why is that a COVID-19 from the very beginning till the end is kind of drowning? Now, these are the questions I have encountered by the patients of us in the COVID-19. They say, how could a virus make you drown? And a lot of people think that people die from COVID-19 because virus eat the lung. And when I told them that your parents, your father or your mother died because the immunity overwhelmed the body. And then they give me the look and say, how is that even possible? Isn't self-immunity is to protect us, and how can it kill us? And a very famous question they ask is that how some people, they can recover from COVID-19 infection and some people die from it. Okay, now, to explain the whole thing, it's gonna take 2 weeks. So I'm gonna explain to you in a very simple movie to explain to you how immunity works in this COVID-19. Imagine far away in far away in Malaysia, next to you, it's a school. The school name is lungs. And in the school, there's a lot of students or teachers happily doing everyday thing in their life, okay? And they're called cells. At this moment, there are a group of terrorists outside the school, and they name themselves COVID-19. This COVID-19 terrorist has been aiming the school for the longest time. So they're sneaking. When they're first sneaking, people don't know they're terrorists. So they're okay. This is basically your incubation period. Your immune system wouldn't do anything because they think, it's just a passenger or parents. So what happened? They went into the lungs, they went into the school, they start to kill people. Kill the teacher, kill the student, and COVID-19 take over the whole school. Now, from the outside of the school, no people know what's going on in the school. So it is maybe day number 4, number 5. You feel okay. You already put a little bit of sore throat, a little bit of diarrhea, but that's okay because nobody knows what's going on. But at this time, your terrorists already starting to kill the teacher, kill this, kill that. 1 minute by 1 minute, just kill people. All right. At this time, someone realized this is not right. That school looks funny, so they will call 911. So what happened? 911 is what in the immune system we call cytokine. They're going to send signals to the immunity force. The police will come. Right? Police will come and say, what is wrong with this? And then they know that, oh my God, there's terrorists inside. And the terrorists start to have gunshot because every minute they kill one person, every minute they kill one person. Your lungs start to have injury. That you either day 7 or day 8. So immunity will start to discuss, oh my God, we're going to save the people inside. What do we do? At one point, they cannot allow the COVID-19 or the terrorists to keep killing people. So they're going to send a force in, an immunity special force. When the immunity special force went into school, they will start to see the terrorists and they'll start exchange fire. Terrorists will fight back. Immunity force will fight. So there'll be a lot of fire, MK19, 14, just shoot everywhere. Now, because of this exchange of fire, you can understand, right? You haven't seen an exchange of fire and everybody went in and the whole thing will be so neat and nice. When there's an exchange of fire, they don't care. If you see a terrorist or someone look like a terrorist, just kill. So in the immunity, the same thing. When the immunity start to function, start to action, it does not just kill COVID-19, it kills the normal person as well. So at the end of the day, the terrorists will die, so as the students, the teacher, or the writer also will die. And look at the building. The building, because of exchange of fire, all the bullet hit everywhere, the building is also going to have a lot of holes here and there, and broken windows and broken shed, right? So at this moment, you basically have summon another storm coming to the site, which is what we call in medicine called inflammation. There'll be raining, there'll be thunderstorm. So at this point of time, it basically is the time the patient in ICU. They are battling inside. So what happened inside them is the movie I was just telling you. Now, coming to this stage of COVID-19, they have two outcomes, right? One, you go home. The other one, you also go home, but it's a different kind of home. One go home, you can come out again. The other home, you never come back. So when this happened, people ask, then how is it possible for us to detect who go home and who go the other home? Well, listen, if your body, after the exchange of fire, okay, if your body before the COVID-19 is of a healthy body, you exercise, you do a lot of nice things to your body, at this recovery time, which is after the exchange of fire, the new kid is going to be born again. Okay, the new kids coming to the school again. The school is going to be rebuilt, just like your lung cells is going to repair by itself. And slowly by slowly, you're going to recover and go home. Option number two, if before that, okay, your lifestyle is a horrible lifestyle. Your diet is horrible. You don't take care of yourself. You get a lot of stress and things like that. Then at this point, when the thunderstorm came, the whole school is going to collapse. When it collapses, everybody die with it. That's the why the patient go the other home, like Jesus, Muhammad, or Amitabha, all the kind of nonsense. Now, let me show you some facts around the whole world, and this facts is as of this morning, 9 a.m. First, I will bring you to Southeast Asia, okay? If you look at this board, okay, Southeast Asia, Malaysia, all the way to Cambodia, those famous countries that we go. If it is what I always told my friend, if it is a SEA Game scoreboard, I think we'll be quite happy. However, this is a COVID-19, which we Malaysia Boleh Spirit, we always at the top. Now, you have to remember that when COVID came to Southeast Asia, the country that get hit the most and had the highest case was not us. It was Singapore. Singapore has the highest case, 20-something, then 30-something, and they got very panic. Malaysia catch up very quickly. Now we're the first. Active case mean the cases that are being actively treated, not the total case of Malaysia. That means if you have COVID-19, but you do not need a treatment and you be just quarantined at home, you're not counted in the statistics, all right? And see how many deaths we have right now. We have around, let me see, I can see because, we have around 45, right? Now, let me compare with you guys. You see, a very similar country like us, which is Indonesia. Indonesia, you know, like Malaysian, the lifestyle and a lot of things that are very similar to us. But if you look at it, Indonesia documented cases, they have much more people than us. It's 1,417, and the death is 157. So people start to ask, how is it possible? Same lifestyle and same a lot of things, the thing that we eat is almost the same. Why are they having more death than us, but their active cases less? That depends on healthcare system. But comparing Malaysian and Indonesian healthcare system, even though we always complain our government hospital, this one lousy, that one lousy, we are actually not bad. We cannot compare to Singapore. Singapore so far has the best healthcare system in Southeast Asia, but we're not too bad. And because of that, the reporting of COVID-19 positive patients is also very slow in Indonesia. That's why documented case is less, all right? And if you look at Brunei, where is it? Brunei only have 78. Number one, Brunei has less population. Number two, if you have visited Brunei, the population or the rakyat there, they have very relaxed life. So even they kena COVID, they're number one, they have very quickly, they can access to the healthcare system. And number two, their building, remember the school that I was telling you, their building is quite strong. No stress, every day you have good life. I think you can recover for a lot of things. Now let me bring you to Asia. Asia, the origin of Mr. COVID is Wuhan, China, right? Now the active case in China has decreased down to 2,000 something. Now, how many deaths had happened in China? 3,312. Remember that number, 3,312. Remember, this is the origin of why COVID-19 come from. And then if you move down to India, India population and China population are very similar, okay? First is China, second is India. And guess how many documented cases they have? 1,792. And how many deaths they have? 58. People must be saying, oh, that's good. The darker you are, the more immunity you have. In certain genetic study, it shows yes, but at the same time, it's also India has no complete documented system. That means if there's one kampong have whole COVID-19, it might not be reported. That's one thing. That's why your deaths only 58. So people have to take into consideration when they look at statistics. Now, if I bring you to Europe, everybody know the one that hit the most is Italy. Up to today, remember I asked you to remember the number of China deaths, 3,312. You look at the death in Italy, it's 13,155. Much more than the original country of Wuhan, of COVID-19. People start to ask, why is it so? Well, Italy is the number one in the whole Europe. One of the explanation is that Italy has the largest geriatric population. That means have a lot of old people. When you have a lot of old people in your country and this COVID-19 hit, what naturally old people has less immunity, and that's why the statistics go up. The other reason why they have such a high number, like France and UK also, is because when the COVID hit, China, starting from January or December last year, already give the advice and notice and warning to the whole world, saying that this is not something serious, not something easy. You guys have to take into consideration. But our dear Italy, France, and UK people, they are the people that like a lot of freedom. They don't like to wear masks because mask is restraining. They don't like to keep at home. You ask them to stay at home and wear masks is like a no-no for them. So what happened in Italy is actually when the government want to impose the mask wearing law, they actually go to the street and democracy. They actually go and have a riot. So initially you want to practice social distancing. In their country is a social closing. They get more and more people on the street and spread. And that's the reason why this is the consequences of ignorance. Now they have the highest death in the whole world. Now, if you look at Germany, how come Germany the death is 931? Germany is a very military country. So they obey whatever the government says. You see, the government leadership does play a role in the spreading of COVID-19. Then I bring you to Iceland. Look at Iceland, active case 992, death only 2. People ask to ask, how come? If you're comparing and say that maybe the hot weather can help to conserve the virus, then Iceland, that's the reason why Iceland is okay. I mean, it's supposed to be not okay because Iceland is quite cold. So weather itself is not a sole factor to determine the spread of viruses. Now, if I bring you to America, the country that hit the most now is the whole world, is our dear United States of America, where I was studying before. It is the first country that have active case that hit 6 digits, 200,023. The next country they're gonna hit 100 is Italy. And the death in the United States is 5,102. It's gonna have more and more and more. For the statistic analysis that we did, we suspected USA will be the next country to be hit. So if you have any relative or you're planning to go USA, it's the time for them actually to really store up some N95 and things like that and practice social distancing, even though the government, which is our president, Mr. Trump, has not announced anything. The people themselves, if they have this awareness, they will start already social distancing and quarantining themselves at home. Then I bring you to Africa. So if you want to migrate, because you want to avoid COVID-19, the best country to migrate is actually Africa. And look at the number. And one I can suggest is Somalia. Somalia only have 4 active cases and 0 death. Now people ask, why is it so? Because it's hot? No, it doesn't make sense. Why? Hot, yes, maybe there's one factor that can help with that. The other thing is, look at Somalia, look at Congo, look at Ethiopia. They have no money to buy food. So let along this COVID-19, and this is the country that is hungry, it's more important than infection. So in this kind of country, they don't care about COVID-19 that much. What they care about is whether I can have a piece of bread next meal. That's the reason why their documented cases is very low. And the other thing is, one very important thing is the traveling. The country that have very high numbers, you will be surprised that who brought in the COVID-19 is not their native citizen of the country. Most of the time it's brought in by the tourists. So you look at Somalia and Tanzania, any one of you, your honeymoon, did you plan to bring your husband or wife to Somalia for honeymoon? I don't think so. Or when you plan your year-end company trip, would you go Congo? I don't think so. So those are the countries that nobody goes, even though you have a lot of money. And that's the reason why it indirectly helped them to contain the infection. I bring to Australia. Australia is one of the countries that is actually quite good in handling this COVID-19. Australia has a vast land of the whole continent is basically one country. That's the reason why they are very easy to control. And if you look at Australia, the city is always at the side, the seaside, the coastline. And in between is covered by the huge hutan or the forest. And before COVID-19, that hutan caught fire. So that indirectly protected Australia. If you look at Fiji and Papua New Guinea, these kind of places, nobody goes. So that's why there's no infection. Now, after understanding all this statistic and analysis of data for the whole world, you start to understand this spread of COVID-19 is not one factor, okay? People start to ask, so what are the things that we can do for helping ourselves? If you look at it, a lot of things of the statistic that we presented just now, we cannot control. For example, weather. Can we control weather? Can I say, I want Malaysia to have snow in May? Impossible. I cannot control region. A lot of us cannot control region as well. Population, healthcare system, those are the factors that can only control at either superior level, even beyond human power, or at the government leadership level. We as Rakyat, is what we call Malaysia, can't control it. So what can we do? It sounds like there's no hope. There's one thing that we can control: your indoor air and your immunity. Now we are all quarantined in one places, especially for those who have to go out. For example, medicine, we are essential service that would go to work and come back. If you're the one that have to go out and come back, you are the biggest threat to the whole family, because we don't know where you're going out and where you get content and you come home. So indoor air, the air that you breathe in, becomes important, and your whole immunity becomes important. What is it? So because for the virus to go into you, or the virus to even reach your lung and to kill somebody, it has a lot of custom. The first custom is your breathing air. The air that goes into your lungs and into your throat is the first custom they have to pass. So look at it. This is what we call the size of everything in around us and in our lungs. So if you take human hair as a standard comparison, it's 17 microns, okay? People cannot see less than 14 micron, but human hair, the bigger one you can see. And your lung, the smallest unit of your lung alveoli is 200 microns. So basically, I'm telling you that the human hair can go into your lung in and out quite easily. If you look at fungi, bacteria, and viruses, those are the things that make you sick. They're even smaller. And that's the reason why it seems small. You get sore throat all the time, you get cough all the time, you get better, and you do all the nonsense, not nonsense stuff, right? That's because the fungi, the bacteria, the viruses can come in and out at any time they want. There's no restriction. It depends on your body immunity to take them out. So now let me show you. What is the standard size, the body size of coronavirus? Our COVID-19, okay, standard size of it is 0.06 micron. If they go to gym, they may be a bit thinner. If they don't go to gym, they may be a bit small, I mean, a bit bigger. But the standard one is 0.06. So I believe many of us have this air purifier at home, right? And you have to look. So I always advise my patients to carefully select what you're going to buy. Because as far as I know, air purifiers are not cheap in Malaysia. Then you can look at it. If the filtering power or the filtering hole, is what I call, of the filter is much larger than coronavirus, so it's 0.3 micron, most of the air purifier is classified as 0.3 micron. The coronavirus not only can go in and out, the coronavirus can bring a whole family, a whole kampong, go through your purifier and come out. Okay? So sometimes we ask people to think logically, not magically. Now, if I show you the next one, it might hurt some of you. This is on the market. We can see what are the filtering power of each purifier. So if you get something like 0.1 or 0.015, it's not enough for the coronavirus. This is side bonus information. If you want to get a better purifier and not wasting money, you can put your baby at home. This is what I joke about with my friends, right? Because babies or anyone below 12, they breathe faster than you. So they can actually filter the whole room air before you breathe in. So you have a lot of babies at home or you have a lot of kids at home, actually you're protected. But I think they are too expensive to be as a purifier. So This is the first one. The second custom that the virus has to go through is called immunity of human respiratory system. That means your immunity in your system, let's say they come to the lungs already, you have one more chance to go against it. These are the cells that is working for you. Okay, they have different names, neutrophil, basophil, all that. You don't have to know, but they exist in your body. For them to work well, you have to do something for them. For example, let's say you guys are engineer. I don't know much about engineer. I said something, roti canai. I think everybody knows about roti canai. If you want to have a good roti canai, you have to have a good flour. You have to have the good oven. You have to have the good pair of hands to make it. Am I right? So let's say if you just give water to the roti canai maker, how is that possible for the roti canai maker to make a roti canai for you? It's the same thing. If you don't provide your immune system what they need, when you need the immune system, they have nothing for you. So how to produce good or functional immune system? Number one, you need good quality vitamin C. Vitamin C has proven multiple times in the study, it boosts out the production of your immune cells. That's why in our ICU, okay, in a very sick septic patient, we inject into their vein high quality vitamin C and has proven to help a lot of patients. Now, number two, for your immune cells to have powerful weapons. Remember just now the school and the COVID-19 terrorists come in? Now, terrorists come in, they won't be just carrying a knife or a small stick to come and attack you. When especially COVID-19, this kind of terrorists, when they come in, they have all the MK14, MK49 about to destroy you. So imagine if your defense troop has nothing, there's no powerful weapons, they only carry some parang. How is it possible for your immune system to go and fight COVID-19? Impossible. So you have to equip your immunity with even more powerful weapons. And this you need something we call echinacea. Now people ask, what the hell is in echinacea? Echinacea is a plant, it's a herbs. And how we discovered this echinacea is from the Native Americans, the Red Indians in the North America last time. When they were many years ago, okay, the ancestor, okay, they had nothing to do. So they observed animals. They observed what happened to the animals when they died, and they observed one kind of deer. It's a huge body deer, right? When they get injured or when the deer got sick, they always go to one plant and pluck the plant and eat it, or they put it onto their wounds. So these Red Indians find out, that's interesting, and the deer gets better after that. So they go and study the plant, and the plant turned out to be echinacea. Nowadays, you're already making into scientific study of this plant. The third thing you need to do, energy. So in this case, to provide energy to your immune system, you need coenzyme Q10. So in my clinic and in where I practice, I always recommend and collaborated with a brand called Neutralite. It's the best of nature, based of science, because Neutralite produce, the product they produce have to go through 500 tests before it come to me, or before it come to my patient or my prospect. That's the reason why I trust it. Now, coming to the third steps. Let's say the exchange of fire had happened, okay? The terrorists came in, your immune troop have went in, and then the exchange of fire, the fire, everything. Your buildings start to have holes and become unstable. Remember, you have two outcomes. You go home, the real home, and you go the other home. So that determines how much of integrity of your immune system and how much of integrity of your health before COVID-19. If you have good health, it can repair within weeks, maybe 7 days, 5 days, it all build back again. Okay, people start to work inside again, everything back to normal, you go home. However, if it doesn't happen, then you go the other home, right? Now, how to build the health of the body to not only COVID-19, to combat any infection, even inflammation or anything that might come your way. This, you have to build a nice school, am I right? So a nice school, most of the time, we believe in brick. We don't believe in, you don't use the grass to build a house or things like that. If you have grass to build a house, you don't need COVID-19. You need COVID-16 or COVID-10. If you need the light of a cigarette, you die. So to build a brick house, you need a brick, for sure, okay? Now, to have the brick to stand together, to stick together, to become a wall, to become a house together, you need cement, right, in between. It's a very simple concept to understand. So what is brick in everybody, human body, cells net that we need? It's called quality protein. To mix the quality protein together, to build your immune system, to build your integrity, to build your school, you need micronutrients. This is what we call. Now, what kind of quality protein? Consider quality protein. I believe Malaysia nowadays, they are very focus on the nutrition, and a lot of us start to drink protein drink. So to know where you take the protein from is quite important. Number one, it should be natural. In fact, back in the United States, we have a lab that we can make protein, we can make vitamins, not from natural. I can make vitamins out of the byproduct of petroleum. And it's very cheap because I can give you a high dose of vitamins in one very small dosage of petroleum side product. But it's not natural. Okay. So number two should be plant-based. Now people ask because when we talk about protein, they like to say, I eat beef, I eat chicken, I eat that. Isn't that enough? It's enough. But at the same time, when you eat the chicken, the beef, you consume the unhealthy ingredient with it, such as you fried the chicken, am I right? You cook the chicken with salt, am I right? Things like that. So by the time you get the benefits, you also get a disadvantage out of it. Number three is the most important when you select quality protein. It's called PDCAAS. The full name is Protein Digestibility of Corrected Amino Acid Score. You don't have to know much about it. It just means when you take the protein into you, how much does it get absorbed into your body to help your body build your body. So the highest score of the whole world, not only Malaysia, the whole world, PDCAAS is number one. There's only one, okay? You can have PDCAAS of 0.2, 0. Something. Beef is 0.8, one of the highest in animal protein. As compared to micronutrients. Micronutrients stands for vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients. So if you ask me, what brand do I recommend to my patient? I also say the same thing, Nutrilite. I trust this brand and I use this brand myself. So now you understand a lot of factors in the world that we can control. Weather can control, population can control, but you can control the few square meter in where you're living right now, your indoor air and your immunity. So if you can take care of yourself and then you can take care of your family, the family can take care of the neighborhood can take care of the society, and the society can take care of the whole world. This COVID-19 will come down, but it really takes a lot of effort from a single unit of us. So if you ask me whether COVID-19 is bad, it's not really, because we got quarantine. If you go to KL City, which I live right now, there's really no car, no jam. You can reach KLCC in about 10 minutes from Bukit Jalil. And there's a lot of online learning, like what your company has provided you, same as our hospital. You become a good chef, like a Michelin. Before that, maybe you're a Michelin chef -2. But after this COVID-19, everybody become at least Michelin 3 or 5, right? Because people like to cook right nowadays, they have no choice. And you have more time to spend with your family. Some of us like it, some of us hated it. But anyway, so if you ask me, COVID-19, is it a bless or a sin? I would say it's a bless in a sin. It is a virus, it's an infection, it's a pandemic that wakes us up from a lot of things. That life is really unpredictable. Never think never. And the best that we can do is prevention. At least you have done everything you can. And if you still encounter the infection, I can tell myself I have done my best. I think this is my last slide. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Jamie. It was really, really informative and quite humorous in a way. So I open to the floor for any questions.
Any other thing that I can help?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Is it true that the face mask has a front side and back side? I mean, the proper way to wear it?
Yes. So when you buy the mask, right? Because I usually wear surgical masks, and I know that the outside one is a bit different. And when there's a string, how do I tell you? There's the surgical mask. There's always a face, the folding one. You should be outside.
Just that previously we heard that like if you are sick, then wear the blue color inside, and if you are not sick, then wear the white color inside, something like that.
No, there's no scientific proven to that. If you're initially, we encourage people who are sick to wear masks. But nowadays, you have no idea who is sick or who is not sick anymore, because you can be incubated period. We encourage everybody to wear masks, and you should always wear the correct way, regardless you're sick or not. It should be always the correct way.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
You're welcome. Okay, I see the chat. Some people ask, is the patient in last stage have chance to recover? It depends. It really depends. Remember the story I told you? if the patient have good recovery or good health in baseline, he or she can make it. However, if the patient already before that have hypertension, have heart disease and things like that, it's a little bit harder. That's why I always tell my patient that everything you do to your body right now, at a very critical time, the body will repair you 100%. And the other, one of you asked, I heard that it will be affected if you get infected by COVID-19. Oh, sorry. I heard that it will be after effect if you get infected by COVID-19. Okay, that is true. Because remember the exchange of fire. So whenever this infection happened in your lung, and if the infection was very big, okay, your lung will have scar tissue. This is what we call, just like if you cut yourself, right? You're gonna have a scar on your hand or things like that. It's the same thing in your lung. When the scar tissue form in the lung, it makes the lung harder to expand and contract during your breathing. So that is the after effect. However, it's the same as if you have a cut in your hand. Some of us, the hand would heal as if there's no cut before. But some of us will have a forever scar in the hand. Why is it so? Because it's your body. If your body have enough material to make the scar less, then you will not have problem breathing at all. Okay? Some of you ask how to know if the mask is counterfeit. This is a bit tough. This is really tough. You have to really check the number. If you go to website and then you type out N95, KN95, they will tell you a series number. Every mask type. So you have to check the number to make sure that it's real or not. And that says, Johnny. Okay, someone asked, what is the accuracy of COVID-19 test kit used by Malaysia? It's pretty okay. Malaysia government are doing pretty good job, I have to say, as compared to America, because I experienced both healthcare system. When this crisis hit, I realized Malaysian doctor and Malaysian rakyat are far more fortunate than Americans. Because every day I heard update from my Americans counterpart, they are not doing quite well. They have been, you see, one of the hospitals in New York have so many COVID-19 people die per day that the body is too many for the mortuary to handle. So the body have to stay in the ward for 2-3 days. That means if you're a patient that you're alive, you probably have to sleep beside a body for 2-3 days. That's how bad the United States is. And they are not going, and Mr. Trump is not going to cut, not cut down, going to do the restriction movement. So Malaysian are actually much better. Okay, someone asked, here in PH, what is PH? PH masks cannot buy, so now temporarily we use as cloth.
Philippines.
Oh, Philippines.
We have staff actually in Philippines. We have 3 staff in Philippines.
Okay. Cloth mask, and we put a secondary light tissue. No, cloth mask cannot prevent COVID-19. It cannot filter. The only thing to help COVID-19 is the surgical mask and the N95. The word later I'll send Rebecca a mask standard, but the cloth mask definitely cannot.
So Dr. Jamie, we actually bought some masks, which is like 3-ply masks, but they are not stated as surgical. So can that be used?
Yes, for general population who are not sick or you are not in contact with tested COVID positive patient, yes, it can be used for your protection. That means you are protecting yourself from those viruses probably that linger in the air and things like that. The protection would not be as good as N95 or surgical mask, but at least you have some sort of protection. Okay, someone asked, is it true smoker would have high tendency to be infected more compared to non-smoker? Yes, it is. Why is that so? Because the lungs and the respiratory tract, remember that I showed you just now, already damaged. One of the, we call the customer that your body have is, if you look at your respiratory tract, your throat and below, what we call trachea, the windpipe. If you open it up, which I don't think you should, we do operation. When we open it, there's this tiny hair inside to propel all the dirty stuff or allergen from going into your lungs. The smoker, or for those who keep having infection in their throat, this small tiny little hair, it's going to be shortened and shortened. So why are they have a higher risk infected? Because their protective mechanism is much less than the normal generation. Does it answer your question? Good.
Dr. Jamie, I have some question about the vitamins that we eat. So I read in newspaper, it says that vitamin C, which is you mentioned just now, is good because it's antioxidant, and it also mentioned vitamin E. So, but I didn't see you mention vitamin E here. So, what do you think about it?
Okay, this is a good question. A lot of people will ask not only E, people start to ask A, start to ask B, and things like that. Okay, to put it that way, basically, if you look at our human cells, right, the hair cell is different from the face cell, is different from your nervous cells, different from your cardiac cells. So basically, one human body needs quite a lot of nutrients. However, in Malaysian concept, a lot of us think that I eat healthy food every day. I have, veggie, if I eat chicken rice, you have two pieces of timun there, and then I have chicken and rice. I'm complete. But the fact is not, all right? But if you want to transform a whole population to believe that you need nutrition, it's very tough. So in this kind of cases, we can only change one by one. So in a crisis time, we recommend the most important one, which is vitamin C, echinacea, and coenzyme Q10. If you ask me for general population, if to maintain your health, to build your brick house well, yes, lecithin E is also needed. Someone asked, what is the surgical mask filtering power? When we say filtering power, it goes against either you are talking about bacteria, viruses, and things like that. Our surgical mask filtering power, virus 90%, almost 90%. For bacteria is also 85%. We never below 70 for surgical mask. If you are talking about N95, even higher, they have 95%. And someone asked, yesterday our DG, Dr. Hisham, stated that COVID curve is flattening. In your opinion, does the trend will keep this way or worse? Thanks. You are going to see the active case go down. That's what we think. And the death will go up a little bit, up to a certain point. Because those who already kena, right, they are still battling. We don't know which home they go. But from what I can see in the ICU, most Malaysian actually do not take care of themselves before COVID-19. And that's why this crisis hit so bad. A lot of us have this what we call suboptimal health. That means you don't get sick, but when you get sick, it's horribly sick. Suboptimal health. And so that's why I think our curve is flattened in the case, the active case is flattened, but the death rate from what I can see is still going to be up a little bit until a certain point. And for the whole thing to come back into like normal, that means people can go yum cha again and things like that, it might until the end of the year. Any other question? Or any question that I did not answer well? Okay, so I'll ask, is it true that droplet retain as airborne? If yes, how long? Yes, I will just answer you yes, because if I have COVID and I sneezes and an airdrop just floating in the air and you pass by and you suck it in, you probably will get COVID-19. And how long can it last? Some studies say as long as 24 hours. Any other question I can help?
Okay, I think that's all. Thank you, Dr. Jamie, for your time, and thank you so much. So let's everybody stay safe, stay healthy. And if we have any further questions, are we all right to contact you?
Yes, I'll give you my personal email. Then any questions you guys have, you can send to the email.
Okay.
Good.
So thanks. That's all. Thank you, Dr. Jamie. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.